Hey guys, you are not ready for this one. What if I told you Prince might have known exactly who was responsible for Michael Jackson's death? This isn't just another wild theory. This is about secrets, a missing diary, and two of the biggest names in music history possibly being tied together in a way nobody saw coming. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing. While the media kept pushing this idea that Prince and Michael were enemies, the truth might be way deeper. These two icons weren't just rivals. They were connected in ways most folks never knew. Behind the fame, they shared secrets, fears, and maybe even a list of people they didn't trust. Now hold up, because here's where it gets even messier. What really happened to Michael Jackson's missing diary? The one people say had everything, names, plans, fears, straight up receipts. That diary vanished right after he died. Poof, gone without a trace. Coincidence? Or did someone make sure the truth stayed buried? We're breaking it all down, and trust you'll want to hear what Prince allegedly knew. Let's go back to 2009. Michael was 50 and about to make his big comeback with the This Is It tour, but out of nowhere, he's gone. Dead from an overdose of propofol and benzodiazepines, drugs given to him by his personal doctor, Conrad Murray. Suspicious? Absolutely. But weeks before that, Michael had been scribbling entries in a secret diary, and he didn't hold back. He talked about fear, mistrust, and his biggest wish. He didn't just want to be remembered for his music. He wanted to be a movie icon. He wanted immortality. Right after Michael died, some wild stuff started coming out, including the fact that he wanted Broadway producers to turn his life story into a full-blown play. Not just for the legacy, Michael had serious plans. He wanted to become the first multi-billionaire who did it all: entertainer, actor, and director. He was aiming for a whole new level of fame and fortune. But it didn't stop there. In that same diary, he opened up about how much he relied on Dr. Conrad Murray, the same doctor who later got exposed for giving him prescription meds just to help him sleep. Michael was struggling, and he put his trust in the wrong hands. And get this, he had big-time plans to launch his own line of products, including soda and cookies. In those entries, he also revealed he was dreaming huge, like $20 million a week kinda huge. He even wrote about working with mega brands like Nike and doing Cirque du Soleil-style shows to rake in the cash. But here's where it gets dark. Michael truly believed someone was out to get him. His words in the diary: "Evil people everywhere. They want to destroy me and take over my publishing company. The system wants to destroy me for my catalog. I'm not selling it." Chilling, right? He didn't just scribble that in private. He was loud about it in public, too.
It's been, the record companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists.
Yeah. Now let me say this.
Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very devilish.
The catalog wasn't just music to him, it was power, and he wasn't about to let anyone take it. Even Michael's own family believed something wasn't right about his death. His sister, LaToya, she didn't hold back. She said straight up that the whole thing felt suspicious, and that Conrad Murray was just the fall guy. According to her, Michael had warned her that his life was in danger, and it was all about those catalogs. Think about it. He wasn't just a pop star, he owned one of the most powerful music catalogs in the world, and some folks weren't okay with that. He told LaToya that people wanted to take it from him, and he knew they'd stop at nothing to make that happen.
Your Honor, I am an innocent man. I therefore plead not guilty.
Thank you.
I truly feel that Conrad Murray is simply the fall guy. This was definitely something that was premeditated, that they had planned to do, and they planned to take my brother out, and my brother knew it, and that's why he told me repeatedly that this was going to happen to him. He explained it to me. He explained it's because of my catalog, which is my publishing, and they're after it, and they want it, and they want their hands on it, and they want to take it away from me. So Michael developed this love-hate relationship. I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to let them rip it apart and take it from me. This went back and forth. I began to see his personality change.
These will be my final show performances This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it really means this is it.
Sound familiar? Because Prince was in the same fight. When Prince started pushing for full control over his own music, things got ugly. The label didn't just push back, they made life hard, real hard. And instead of backing down, Prince fired back in public by showing up with the word slave written on his face. That was his way of calling out the industry for locking him into a deal where they owned everything: his name, his music, his legacy. And when that wasn't enough, Prince made a bold move. He changed his name to a symbol. People called him the artist formerly known as Prince, or just the Symbol. It was his way of breaking free from a system he felt was choking his creativity and robbing him of what was his.
Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well, the majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you.
Prince wasn't just making noise, he was sounding the alarm in interviews too. In one convo with Paper Mag, he spilled it all. "I wanted to buy my masters back from Warner Brothers. They said no way, so I'm going to re-record them, all of them. Now you will have 2 catalogs with pretty much exactly the same music, except mine will be better, and you can either give your money to WB or to NPG. You choose." That was Prince putting the industry on blast. Just like Michael, Prince was fighting for control, real control, and not just over his music, but over his legacy. These weren't 2 random artists. These were 2 geniuses going head to head with powerful people who didn't want them to own their own art. And best believe they had real talks about this behind the scenes. Now, some people will argue, no way, they were rivals. They weren't even cool like that. And sure, the tension between them got attention. There's plenty of proof they weren't always friendly. Back in 1985, when Michael invited Prince to join the USA for Africa charity anthem We Are the World, Prince said no. Later, MJ wanted Prince to duet with him on Bad and appear in the video, but Prince turned that down too. That's when Wesley Snipes ended up taking the role.
You got a role as a young actor unknown that...
You ain't down with us no more. You ain't down. You ain't bad. You ain't bad. You ain't bad. You ain't nothing.
was possibly they were considering Prince for.
No, that Wesley Snipes character, that would have been me.
In that Michael Jackson was considering Prince for in that role. I don't know if that's true, if that's just a rumor.
Yeah,
have you ever heard that?
Me and Prince were auditioning together, and I blew Prince out of the water.
Yeah.
The first line of that song is "Your butt is mine." I said, who's gonna sing that to whom? Because you sure ain't singing it to me.
So yeah, the media pushed the whole rivalry angle, but behind closed doors, they might have had way more in common and way more to lose than anyone realized. Back when Michael was working on his Moonwalk memoir in 1988, he didn't hold back when talking about Prince. In one interview, he admitted he didn't like how Prince treated him. Michael said, "I have proven myself since I was real little. He feels like he's my opponent. I hope he changes because, boy, he's gonna get hurt." Then it got even darker. Michael added, "He's the type that might unlead himself or something." That right there, that's not just shade, that's deep concern. And it didn't stop with just their personal issues. Michael claimed Prince was downright rude to the Jackson family too. He called Prince one of the rudest people I have ever met and said, "Prince is very competitive. He has been very mean and nasty to my family." So yeah, that tension, it wasn't just rumors, it was real. Then there's this wild story from sound engineer David Z. He shared how one time, Michael visited Prince at a studio in LA, and somehow they ended up going head to head in a game of ping pong. But this wasn't just for fun. It got intense. According to David, Prince started clowning MJ, teasing him with lines like, "Come on, Michael, get into it," and even asking, "You want me to slam it, Michael?" He didn't take it well. David said he dropped the paddle and raised his hands like a shield, like he was trying not to get hit. It wasn't just a game anymore. That was a power move, and it showed just how much tension was boiling under the surface between these two icons. Right after that heated ping pong moment, things didn't cool off. They escalated. When Michael left with his bodyguard, Prince started strutting around like he owned the place, acting all cocky. According to witnesses, he started talking trash, saying, "Did you see that? He played like Helen Keller." That's cold, and it shows just how deep the rivalry really went. And there's another story that adds even more fuel to the fire. In an interview with Esquire, Rolling Stone editor Steve Knopper shared something wild he heard from will.i.am, the frontman of Black Eyed Peas. Around late 2006, Prince was doing his Vegas residency. And guess who was also living in Vegas at the time? Yup, Michael. Will.i.am was tight with both of them. He was a guest performer at Prince's show, but he also made a quiet move. He arranged for Michael to sit in the audience. Low-key. Nobody knew, except Prince. And Prince? He wasn't about to let that slide. At one point during the concert, Prince grabbed his massive bass guitar, walked down into the crowd, and headed straight for Michael. No smile, no nod, just raw energy. He stood in front of him and started aggressively slapping that bass right in Michael's face. The next morning, will.i.am went over to Michael's place for breakfast. They were chatting about the show when Michael suddenly looked at him and asked, "Will, why do you think Prince was playing bass in my face? That wasn't just music, that was a message." And Michael felt it. According to Steve Knopper, will.i.am told him that Michael was furious after that bass in the face moment. He didn't laugh it off. He was genuinely hurt. Michael started venting, saying stuff like, "Prince has always been a meanie. He's just a big meanie. He's always been not nice to me." And then he got real personal, adding, "Everybody says Prince is this great, legendary Renaissance man, and I'm just a song and dance man. But I wrote Billie Jean. I wrote We Are the World. I'm a songwriter too." That's not just rivalry, that's deep insecurity mixed with years of comparison. But where did it all start? A lot of folks trace it back to 1983. That night when James Brown, yes, the James Brown, invited Michael on stage during a performance. Prince was in the building too. Now by that point, Michael was already dominating pop culture. Thriller had dropped and he was a global icon. Prince hadn't yet released Purple Rain, but he was still climbing fast. After Michael did his thing, signature moves and all, he whispered to James Brown and asked him to bring Prince up too. That's when things got awkward. Prince hit the stage, grabbed a guitar, but the vibe just wasn't clicking. He looked frustrated, like the moment wasn't going how he imagined. Then, in a wild turn, he took off his shirt and started doing his own thing, but it got messy. At one point, Prince grabbed what he thought was a stage prop, but it was a real lamppost. He lost his balance and fell into the audience. That wasn't just a performance gone wrong. It was the start of a cold war between two kings of music. That whole moment on stage? Yeah, it ended up being one of the most humiliating nights of Prince's life. And word is, he didn't think it was just bad luck. Prince reportedly walked away from that performance believing Michael sabotaged him. It got that serious. Even Quincy Jones dropped a bomb in an interview. He said that after feeling humiliated, Prince actually waited for Michael outside, in his limo, and had every intention of trying to run him over. Yup, Quincy claimed MJ knew what was up and kept his distance that night for a reason. That wasn't a rivalry anymore, that was straight up dangerous. But here's where it flips. Even though in public it looked like Prince and Michael were total opposites, like they never saw eye to eye, behind closed doors, the story might have been completely different. Reports say these two were actually leaning on each other when things got rough. Turns out they were both fighting the same battles, about control, ownership, and protecting their legacies. And get this, people close to Prince, including his own former bodyguards, have said that Prince and MJ had a low-key friendship that the media never saw. They say Michael visited Prince's Paisley Park estate multiple times. They'd hang out, play games, and chill backstage at each other's shows. Totally off the radar. One insider even claimed that before dropping his Dangerous album, Michael brought the final version over to Prince's private studio and played the whole thing for him. No cameras, no press, just two legends, face to face. That says a lot more than people ever gave them credit for. Prince loved the Dangerous album, straight up said it. That moment showed something big. Despite all the drama and headlines, Michael and Prince were actually friends. Real friends. They hung out, cracked jokes, played games, just like regular dudes. But they kept it private, because the media and the music industry were constantly pushing that rival narrative. Allegedly, that pressure kept them from showing the world what their bond really looked like. Prince even told people that Michael used to call him up and drop real career advice on him, calling him a legend, lifting him up, giving him solid game. That's not shade, that's love. And when Michael passed away in 2009, Prince took it hard. It hit him in a deep way. So much so, he started performing Don't Stop Till You Get Enough during his own shows. A quiet tribute that spoke volumes. That wasn't just a cover, it was respect. Then there's what Tavis Smiley said. He was close to Prince, and in a 2016 interview with Extra, he revealed Prince's reaction after Michael died. And it wasn't just sadness, it was pain.
I've never said this publicly. When the news came that Michael had died, Prince was in rehearsal at Paisley Park. Prince cancels rehearsals, sent the band home, and for days locked himself in his bedroom and wouldn't come out and really didn't talk to people.
Prince felt that loss in his soul. So maybe, just maybe, Michael opened up to Prince more than anyone realized. Away from the spotlight, the chaos, the fans, and the flashing lights, there were two musical giants, just being human. And behind all the rumors, there might have been way more truth to their connection than the world ever got to see. These weren't just two legends. They were men trying to tell us something. And maybe, just maybe, Prince listened. Maybe he knew what was coming, for Michael, and even for himself. Let's not forget, both of them died under some seriously suspicious circumstances. Michael, he was just days away from a massive comeback tour. Everything was set, but then gone. Prince, folks say he was the healthiest he'd ever been. Still performing, still sharp, and then out of nowhere, a sudden overdose? Now stop and ask yourself this. Why did so many people close to them claim that they looked afraid in their final days? What were they seeing? What were they feeling? And most importantly, who had the most to gain from making sure their voices were permanently silenced? If Michael left a secret diary, could Prince have left something too? A message? A clue? Anything? These two were smart. They saw it all coming. And there's a good chance they talked about who they were really afraid of, behind closed doors. But now it's your turn. What do you think really happened to Michael and Prince? Who was behind it all? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video if you're deep in the mystery like we are. We'll catch you in the next drama, and trust, it's about to get even crazier.